Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Aniverse Network podcast. I'm Dayron. All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Wild Wednesday. I'm your host, Dayron Savers, and welcome to the Aniverse. So, what the Aniverse is? The Aniverse is my company that I built to focus on building coexistence between people and the natural world. Now, I do this through various means. I am a life coach. I'm also a mind, body, and spiritual therapist for people as well as animals. On top of that, I'm also a nature educator. So I teach people in learning ways to learn how nature is our therapist, right? So be sure to check into the Aniverse Network podcast to stay tuned and continue to learn. Be sure to visit my website, www.dayronshavers.com. The link is in the description. All right. So for this episode here, whatever time you're tuning into this, whether this is the morning, whether this is live right now, I'm grateful for that. You may be tired, you may be energetic. It's okay. I appreciate it. So what we're gonna start out with? We're gonna start out with a mindful breath work technique, right? And what this is going to do is this is going to help us to bring our awareness to the current moment. So I call this the 555 meditation. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale through your nose for 5 seconds. You're going to hold your breath for 5 seconds. You're going to exhale for 5 seconds. Now what this is going to do, this is going to help us to clear our mind and focus in on what we're about to learn today. All right. So again, we're going to inhale through our nose for 5 seconds. We're going to hold our breath for 5 seconds. And we're going to exhale for 5 seconds. Fair enough, right? All right, so you can hold your eyes open or you can close them. It works either way. All right. So don't worry about counting. I'll do the counting. Let's get right into it. All right. So let's take an inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. exhale. Now on this last one, I want you to think of something that you are grateful for, something that makes you smile when you think about it, when you participate in it, right? For me, this is being around animals, taking care of animals. This is what I love to do, so I'm grateful for that. So on this last rep, let's think of something we're grateful for. All right, inhale, hold, exhale. Good. How do you feel right now? I feel good, right? 'Cause it's all about how we feel. When we feel good, we start doing positive actions. When we don't feel good, we feel depressed, and we all get this way. It might be easy to do actions that may not benefit us. So keep that in mind as the day goes on, right? Every day we all have things going on. The thing is, now that you know something to help you get through the day, once you apply it, you'll see the results. If you don't, take a guess. May continue to experience the same results. I'm talking from experience. All right. So what we gonna get into next? We're looking at the topic is taking a step at a time. A step at a time. Because as the days go, it comes what? One day at a time. And the day is gonna go whether we want it to or not. Sometimes faster than we would like, right? How many times have we looked up? It's like, man, where did the time go? Where did the day go? Man, I feel like I just woke up. You ever slept through the whole day? Right? If it's 24 hours in a day, that's a lot of time that just went through. See what I mean? So I wanted to start off with something that we actually grateful for, right? Because this helps to build our focus, right? Our focused attention. So when we have something that we're grateful for, right? And this is wonderful if you start off in the morning and think of something that you're grateful for, then that helps to build your focused attention through the day. So we just did that beginning meditation to realize, okay, well, what makes us smile? Because when we smile, this is a form of gratitude. This is good positive energy. So when we apply that to what we are grateful for, to what we love to do, then we can direct our actions towards that goal. Now, again, throughout the day, are things going to come about? Life happens, right, to us all. But when you have the tools to help you get through that, helps you to navigate it, right? So with this, right, one day at a time. So when we set a goal, whether that's you want to start a business, whether that's you want to do something in your community, whether that's you want to eat healthier, you want to exercise more, you want to be the best version of yourself, you want to do better at work, do better in school, whatever arena that you in, right? What is something about it that makes you smile that you're grateful for that? Because now once you have that, now you have some focus. You're able to put your focused attention on that. So now when certain things come about during the day, different distractions, right? Different obstacles and things like that, you're able to get through those and still maintain your focused attention on what makes you happy. right? Take it in for a minute. So when we do this, and this has helped me, because there's times where when you have a passion, that's something you're passionate about, and a goal or dream that you have for it is not built overnight, right? It takes time. It takes opportunities to come about. It takes you actually meeting people. It actually takes, you having to go through the times and the trainings to really get your mindset to where you're able to focus on that. See, when I started out like on going following my passion, there were so many distractions, right? And through that, I had to constantly do personal development on myself. I had to constantly work on myself, different mindset, different habits, things I just had to change. And I had to go through the growing pains. It's part of the game. However, after going through those growing pains, right, I got to a point to where I'm able to remain focused on my passion. Why? Because it brings me gratitude, it brings me happiness. And I rather feel the feelings of that gratitude and happiness over those distractions. So again, I ask you, what are you grateful for? What makes you smile? What makes you happy? All right. Be sure to write it down. Don't hesitate. When you feel like you know what it is, and it may take time. It may take time to find what you're grateful for. We all have a gift that we have, something that makes us happy when we actually do it. We just have to find it. And the thing is, the more you tune into people that have found their passion and are actually willing to help you to find yours, the more you listen in to, their content, whether it's me or someone else, it'll help you and guide you to the things that will help you on your journey. You see, something to think about. All right. So with that, we're gonna go into our news section. So the news on this. At this point, people are right. We're familiar with AI and the technology wave going on. Right. A lot of technology is by the day. It seems like it's getting more and more complex. And at times, this could be a good thing, depending on how you look at it, or it could be the opposite. So what I want you to really think about right now is these humanoid robots, right, that are able to walk, talk, have full blown conversations. Now, imagine doing what you're doing, right? Whether that's at work or school, and instead of talking to Chat GPT, you're talking to something, a machine that is literally maybe about your height or taller, right? Can hold a full conversation with you, right? Somebody episode of a sci-fi movie or something. But if you look at right, Elon Musk just revealed what it's called the Optimus, right? Or these humanoid robots, which there have been more, right, over the years. This is just pretty much one of the recent ones. And it pretty much unveiled it, right? It was going around having conversations within the crowd. I mean, right, something out of a movie. And it just kind of makes you think, right, in the next 5 to 10 years, with the technology moving as fast as it is now, where is it going to be? And how will it affect the environment that we're living in? So, here's just a few things, right? We're going to go through maybe some possible positives of this type of technology within nature, and then some of the stuff to make you think about. So, here's some of the quote unquote good. Help within the agricultural field. Kind of what do you think about it? So, when I talk agriculture, we're talking about, you know, crops, right? We're talking fruits, vegetables, right? And even, you know, animal manufacturing, as odd as that sounds. Probably a better word, quote unquote farming, right? Depending on how you view the actual facilities. Kind of like a manufacturing plant. Right. So if you look at, you know, it can help to boost those numbers. Maybe a positive, maybe not. I kind of like, you know, the the feel of actually gardening, right? Actually growing crops and kind of that it's a type of connection with the earth thing. But I could also see how it could help with production. It's a possibility. Something to think about. Next thing, recycling. Okay, so if we were looking at whether this is an institution like a school or anything within the city, things like that. And if you have seen a lot of the actual recycling bins, sometimes some people just kind of throw anything in there, right? Thinking it's trash. They may be in a hurry. Maybe they just don't care. You know what I mean? Or they might just throw it on the ground, hoping somebody pick it up and put it in the right bin. So if you actually look at it to a point to where these this technology can actually help that, right? If they're already going through the city anyway to help pick up things and actually decipher whether this is trash or this is recyclable, could help with cleaner cities, maybe the areas outside the city. I mean, you could ask the farmer, like, how would you feel if this type of technology was on the farm? See how they would feel that are actually, within the field. Could it help them with some things around the farm or the ranch, what have you? Maybe, maybe not. Again, it's something to think about. Next thing, tree planting. So, as we know, within the lumber industry, a lot, and I mean a lot of trees are cut down yearly. And if you've been tuning into the Aniverse Network podcast, you know how important trees are. They're pretty much like the lungs of the earth, right? And we actually work hand in hand with the trees. So we inhale what? Oxygen. We exhale what? Carbon dioxide. So what do trees do? They inhale what? Carbon dioxide and exhale what? Oxygen for us to breathe. So I say this because we cut down more trees than are reproduced. High demand, low supply. Look what we use trees for. Paper, wood, right? Furniture, pencils, old school pencils, crafts, right? Constantly. A lot of times we didn't even think about it, right? Within school, how much paper did you use with tablets and all this other stuff? A lot, right? So with that, again, it came from a tree that was cut down. Now think of how many schools they have, whether in your town, in your city, your state, your country, your continent, the world. That's a lot of trees, right? And are trees being planted? And keep in mind, many trees, they don't grow overnight. You're talking 5, 10, 15, 20 years or more for trees to reach adulthood, for them to even be able to be cut down to have for paper and whatnot. So if you cut down way more trees than are reproduced, that's a problem. It's affecting our air quality. So with this, again, trees could, or excuse me, having this technology can help to plant more trees within parks, within neighborhoods, even within cities. So that's something to think about. Next, data collection. So when I say data collection, we are talking about maybe air quality, right? The weather, which we have weather instruments to kind of help us, right, with meteorology or things like that. Research into actually improving the environment, right? If you're a scholar, you study, you love facts, you love data to help to prove the point that you're proving. So it could help with data collection. Something to think about. Now, let's look at some of the maybe not so good things about this type of technology. More energy use, right? So how are these, robots, are this technology powered? That's the thing. Is it electrical? Is it powered through, is it, electric, right? Does it have to be charged per se? Many places are building nuclear facilities to help power things. You may or may not feel comfortable having a nuclear facility close to where you live, right? So we're actually looking at more energy use. So with that, with more energy being used for that, this could increase our gas and light bills. Something to think about. Something else, you have to actually have the resources to build them. So what are these? this technology, what is being used to build them? Is it minerals that have to be mined from the ground, right? You have to dig for them, which in itself is a problem because you're not just going to have one place where you're actually digging for these resources. It's going to be all around, right? So what is the effect on that environment? The vegetation will disappear, the wildlife will disappear, trees will disappear. So what happens with that? Air quality goes down. You may have more invasive species to actually come in because they're actually being run out of their habitat. Something to think about. Something else. This kind of goes into what we just talked about, but land degradation. So when I say land degradation, this is pretty much the destruction of the land. So even with this, again, you take away the land that you have to build these facilities, right? Even if you know, you mine for these materials, you have a facility to actually build this technology, right? And all of this is within a certain place. Now, it's not just going to be one plant that builds this. We're talking multiple. What are the effects on the air quality, the water quality? You see? Next, we talk about the loss of jobs. So this is the main thing, right? Recently, there was a port strike in the U.S. For my international listeners, we had a port strike, and it was mainly due to wanting increased wages and job security. Why? Because a lot of jobs, because of this technology, right? Whether AI or these AI robots, they pretty much are able to do a lot of the jobs that we're able to do. So with that, many companies may look to kind of replace, right, our style of working with more computerized. Hmm, right? So, I mean, we're talking a lot of the factory jobs, the manufacturing jobs. I mean, even office jobs, you look at, you know, what ChatGPT is doing, right? And pretty soon, right, you looking at actual in the agricultural field, actually planting, right, harvesting crops. So we're talking, job security in the next 5 to 10 years. If we see, within the past year, how much this technology have grown, then imagine 5 years from now. Imagine 5 years from now. Imagine 10 years from now. Think of the job or what you do to make a living right now. Now ask yourself, is it possible that a machine could come in and replace what I'm doing? Mm, that's something to think about, right? So these are, when we talk about technology, right? Whether it's AI, you know, these more complex machines being brought in, these humanoid robots, right, that are going to be used for a lot of the jobs, right? And going back to the port strikes, actually, there is a fully, quote unquote, automated port, right? It's over in China where everything is done with machines. So the ship comes in, a machine takes it off, boom, it gets, driven to where it's supposed to be. A machine goes and, completes the rest of the task and off to be distributed and shipped to where it's going to be or driven to where it's supposed to be. Now, if this is already in motion, imagine multiple ports throughout the world within the next 5 to 10 years. So this is, again, one of the main reasons why there was port strikes here in the U.S. It's like, wait a minute, we want to make sure we have our jobs to be able to, take care of our families and do what we have to do, right? And on top of that, you take in inflation and everything else, prices are going up. So we need a raise. Why? Because of the incoming AI. Now, is AI a good thing? Yeah, AI can be a good thing. Can it have things to make you think it may not be so good? Absolutely. There's pros and cons with everything. There's pros and cons with everything. So this is just something to think about when we're talking about the environment and nature that we live in and how, this technology is going to impact that. All right. So within that segment, just want to drop something to think about. All right. So in this next segment, this is just what I call the what if. What if they encountered segment? So I love nature, I love animals, right? And sometimes you think about, well, if different animals, right, if they kind of encountered each other within the same habitat, what would happen? Would it be friends? Would it be a type of situation? Who knows? But check this video out. Let me know what you think.
You need to watch this if you love wildlife battles. Who's the ultimate bear champion? Let's find out. Polar bears, the Arctic giants, are built for cold. They weigh up to 1,500 pounds and have powerful paws to crush ice and skulls. They're apex predators with a bite force of 1,200 psi. Now enter the grizzly bear, the North American heavyweight. Weighing up to 1,000 pounds, these beasts have muscle-packed shoulders perfect for digging or delivering bone-crushing blows. Their bite force, a whopping 1,160 psi. So, who takes the crown? In icy terrain, polar bears dominate with their insulation and hunting skills. But on rugged, forested land, grizzlies have the upper paw with their agility and brute strength. In truth, it's a draw. Each bear is the king of its own kingdom. Nature's balance is maintained by their unique strengths. Who do you think will come out on top? Be sure to tune in to Wild Wednesdays and the Aniverse Network podcast.
That's something to think about, right? A grizzly bear and a polar bear. So again, these two animals may never encounter each other, right, in the same habitat. But you think about it, within the Arctic, right, the low temperature regions where a polar bear resides, it's the apex predator. You think of the grizzly bear and where it resides in more wooded areas, it's an apex predator. So if they encounter, what do you think would happen? They could be friends and go on, hunting parties together, or the opposite. Sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Right. So within that, we're going to actually go into the animal of the day. So what I love to do is I bring our topics, right? And I love to teach people on how animals and nature help us within our daily lives. So today I got a friend with me. This is the beaver. Actually, let me move over a little bit so you can see. This is the beaver. You may or may not have seen a beaver before, depending on where you actually live. Now, of course, beavers actually love to be in areas where there is flowing water. Rivers, you see them possibly around lakes. They're really amazing. So earlier, again, our topic is actually building day by day. That's what we're talking about here. So as you realize earlier, I talked about building upon our passion, what we are passionate about, what makes us smile. So guess what the beaver does? The beaver is a builder and a quote unquote engineer within nature. So what does this mean? The beaver actually restructures the environment around it. So the beaver takes surrounding materials and resources to help it to build its shelter, which is called a dam. So how can we relate this to our lives? Okay, check this out. We look at the dam as the end goal. What we're building for. What is our main goal? And the resources that the beaver has to take, right? Surrounding sticks, right? Whatever's around it, grass, to help build it, mold it together. We look at these as situations within our lives. And when building this, the beaver has obstacles. The beaver has troubles. I'm sure the beaver wakes up many days and wants to continue to sleep, but it has to do what? It has to build its home. So whether these situations continue, the beaver overcomes. It overcomes the obstacles, the hurdles, the challenges. The beaver is a very busy animal. Look at videos. Many videos that you see the beaver is the beaver building. And how's it doing it? Again, it's using the resources that it has. So if you have a goal, a lot of those sticks and resources that you're using to get towards your goal, to build towards your goal, could be stuff that we may overlook sometimes. Maybe meditation techniques, maybe mindfulness techniques, right? Maybe talking to somebody who you otherwise might have not said anything to. Because when this happens, you never know what it's going to build onto the next. So when we actually continue to build on these things, we use what we have around us, right? There's many times where, or when I started, I was like, man, if I could just have this, I know I can make this happen if I just had this. But a lot of times I didn't realize all I needed was around me. It was already there. Just had to pause and take a look. When I started working on mindfulness and awareness, I started to realize everything I need is right here. So just as a beaver uses resources around them, right? It goes out to the forest, right? It finds, those sticks and materials that it needs, and it comes back and it builds on the goal that it has. So when we go out, right, whether this is in school, in class, we got to go to class, right, to build on the goal that we want to accomplish. We got to go to work, right? Why? To build on the goals that we want to accomplish, whether that's to continue to pay the bills, to go on a vacation, right, to form that business that we've been thinking about, to help somebody else in need, right? This is all things we go out and build onto our goal for. So then, by the time you look up, now you got a whole dam. Now, check this out though. If we look at, as I said, the beaver loves to build around rivers, right? Flowing streams and things of such. So if you look at water as the flow of your life, a lot of times when the beaver is done building its dam, it changes the flow of the river. So a lot of times when we accomplish these goals and we actually build what we've been building for and we feel good about it, it changes the course of our life. It changes the course of the river flow. You see what I'm saying? So when that happens, okay, it might have been rough starting out. Man, this is crazy. I feel like I'm doing more work than I got to. I'm trying to work on my mindset. Feel like ain't nobody paying attention. Man, this is crazy, man. Then guess what? Months down the road, you look up, you look back, and you got your dam built. Now your life is starting. Now your life is starting to flow in a different direction. Now you're starting to meet people. Now you're learning more skills to pick up to improve, right, what you're working on. The beaver, man. Makes you look at the beaver a little different now, right? That's why I'm here. So when we look at nature around us and a lot of things that we have going on in our life, nature has a lot of the therapies that we require. So if we have situations where we've been grinding for a long time, we've been putting in a lot of work and ain't really seeing no results, think of the beaver. If you look at a dam, you look at a beaver dam, it probably wasn't built in a day. Probably wasn't built in a couple days. But over time, it got built. And when it did, it changed the flow of that stream. Just the same way in accomplishing our goals is eventually going to change the flow of our life. Now, the thing is, when we actually build that, we have to build with gratitude. Now, that's going back to what we talked about in the beginning. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? What is your passion? What makes you smile? Write it down. Because many watching now, they might have not had an answer in the beginning, but now after hearing this and hearing the power that the beaver actually teaches us, I'm sure you got an idea. If not, reach out to me. Again, I'm a life coach and I'm a mind, body, and spiritual therapist for people and animals. And I'm also a nature educator. This is pretty much a life coaching session. So, you want to go further, you want to have a more one-on-one conversation and how any of the service that I offer can help you, be sure to visit my website, book a free consultation with me. It's free. We talk about how anything that I do for my services, whether that is life coaching, mind, body, and spiritual therapy, also known as Reiki for people and animals, or my online course can help you in your life. Let's talk. if you just want to try it out, I have a free goal setting webinar for you. It's free. All you have to do is go to my website, register, check it out, set your goals, and there you go. If you want to continue, I'd be happy to work with you. All right. So with that, again, what are you grateful for? Take those steps one day at a time. And before you know it, you'll have a dam built as well. I'm Dayron Shavers. Thank you for tuning in to the Anniverse Now, Wild Wednesday. All right. I'll see everyone on the next episode. Peace.